The reason I haven't made a War Doctor puppet until now is because the story I've been telling on Dr. Puppet I originally outlined over 4 years ago before the War Doctor even existed. If he had existed, I would have found a way to include him in the story, but it was just too late for that. I've still wanted to make a War Doctor puppet, but I just never got around to it. With the passing of John Hurt, I thought it was finally time that I make a War Doctor puppet. Before I make the puppet, I need to figure out what it's going to look like. So I study the actor's face and I make a caricature of them as a puppet. I'll use this drawing as a guide while I sculpt. So the first thing I do when I'm ready to sculpt is I ball up a piece of aluminum foil and I glue a square brass tube into the middle of this. It may seem kind of strange, but this is the core of every puppet's head. It keeps the head lighter because there's less clay in the head, and the square brass tube is where the neck will later attach. So I am now ready to start putting clay over my aluminum foil ball. I'm going to be using Super Sculpty Firm. This is a polymer clay, so you bake it in the oven. It stays soft until you're ready to bake it, so it's really great for a project like this. I've been working on the War Doctor sculpt for a little under an hour now, just trying to find the general shape of him and follow my drawing. Make sure that his nose is the right size and shape and his jaw is the right angle. I haven't put any details on him yet. Those will come later. Here he is! So now the sculpt is done. He's got ears and a beard and eyes, and I've just baked him. I'm doing a little bit of sanding to make sure he's as smooth as possible, and then he is ready for paint. This is the paint I use for the puppets. It's pretty cheap acrylic paint. Sometimes I water it down a little bit so it goes onto the surface of the sculpts as smooth as possible. Gosh, I got so excited painting the War Doctor, I forgot to take a video of it less than finished. Well, here he is finished. Pretty happy with this paint job. I put a little more detail in his face than I normally would, and I spent a lot of time trying to find a good shape for his eyebrows because they're just so important. I also realized while painting his mustache that he really doesn't need a mouth because his mustache is so large and bushy and it kind of covers that part of his face. I think he works really well just like this. This is the hair I'm going to use to make his wig out of. This is fake hair I purchased at a beauty salon. This is actually the exact same hair that I used for the 12th Doctor's most current wig, and I think it will work very well for the War Doctor as well. To make a puppet wig, I have to glue on the hair one little chunk at a time, and we start with the back of the head and then move our way up. So this is about 20 clumps of hair glued to his head, and as you can see, I still have a ways to go. Alright, he's got pretty close to a full head of hair right now, and I'm just starting to trim it. As I give the puppet a haircut, there are some pretty silly hairstyles along the way. So I am using some regular human hairspray to help with the styling of his hair. The next step is to take the wig off of the head. The saran wrap is there to keep the paint safe. So I'm going to very carefully remove the wig. So here it is. I just need to clean up the wig a little bit more, and then I will glue the wig onto the head, and that's it. Here he is, all done, the War Doctor. So this is not his real costume, as you can see. It's actually the 9th Doctor's costume. I just popped the War Doctor's head onto his body, and I made a temporary scarf out of an old sock. We will get around to making him a real costume sometime this year. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something about how we make Dr. Puppet. If you want to learn more, check out the rest of our behind the scenes videos. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Bye!